What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Pokemon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. In the last episode we covered the midday form of Lycanroc, and I gave you a choice of 2 water type Pokemon to cover for today's episode. It was a choice between Wishiwashi and Araquanid the water bug type won out, so that's who we'll be covering today. But of course we have next episode to choose first, and it's going to be a fight between 2 grass types, and once again it's a rematch duel. We have Lurantis and we have Shiinotic. So do you want pure grass physical attacker, or do you want grass fairy tank basically? Let me know down below by commenting either Lurantis or Shiinotic, and the one with the most votes will be covered next episode. But for now, let's jump in and have a look at Araquanid. So Araquanid is number 752 in the National Pokédex, and as I mentioned is a water bug type, as well as being the water bubble Pokemon. It is about 5'11" or 1.8 meters large, so whether that's its height or its length we don't know, and weighs 180.8 pounds or 82 kilograms, so it's a pretty big spider nonetheless. It's in the water, water, and bug egg groups, and the male-female split is 50-50. And then the evolution chain, we have Dupida, or Dupida, however you want to say it, beforehand evolving into Araquanid, starting at level 22, so fairly quickly evolving actually, for quite a powerful Pokemon. Taking a look at Araquanid's base stats, you can see its highest base stat here is Special Defense at 132, and then next down is Defense at 92, Attack at 70, Health Points at 68, Special Attack at 50, and then finally Speed at 42. So really, its stats don't jump out at you being really quite amazing. It has very good Special Defense, so initially you think maybe like a Special Tank, and its Physical Defense is pretty good as well, so you could definitely use it as a tank, but thanks to its abilities, it can be used offensively as well. The 2 abilities available, the first up is Water Bubble, which has very high, wide-reaching effects. The sort of description says it lowers the power of fire-type moves done to this Pokemon and prevents it from getting a burn. Okay, cool, so it gets the water resistance despite being water and bug type, and it can get burnt. Pretty cool. But there are hidden effects. Really just one effect, but it is quite an effective one, and this is that it doubles the power of water type moves used by this Pokemon. Like, what the hell? It gets double. It's like basically a huge power for your water type moves, as well as giving you an extra resistance rather. So it's really quite a hidden effect, but it's really cool, and this is what makes Araquanid, viable in terms of offensiveness. It has a hidden ability which is Water Absorb, but really, unless you're going for like full tank and not get attacking at all, it's really not worth looking at. So the water bug typing we see here, we have 5 resistances in water, fighting, ground, ice and steel. If you have water bubble as the ability, of course you can add fire onto that. 3 weaknesses which are electric, flying and rock, and the rest neutral there, so it's a decent ability I'd say, especially if you're running water bubble, because then you get another resistance, so that's pretty good. It's decent in both offensive and in sort of defensive areas, because offensive you've got water and bug, which are, at least water is a fairly strong stab. Bug maybe not, it's not like the most wide-reaching sort of type of move, or type of type I suppose, but yeah, it's still pretty good. So moves for Araquanid. Now, due to its sort of flexibility in defensiveness or offensiveness, we're going to have quite a few moves to look at, but we're going to start off with the level up moves. The first of these is Aqua Ring, which is a status move, which basically gives you leftovers, I suppose. It's probably not going to appear in the sets from what I remember, but it could definitely be used if you wanted to at some point. If you're going for like a full defensive set, go for leftovers, Aqua Ring, and build it up like that if you really wanted to. But it's just an option really. Moving on though, we have Leech Life at level 33. Now this move is pretty good in this generation, as we know, up to base power of 80 and restores your health points. So this helps again if you're a tank or if you're offensive, you get some health point restoration using this move, and of course you get stab on it too, so it's going to do some decent damage. Another option though is Lunge at level 45, which is the same power as Leech Life, but instead of restoring health points, you have the chance to lower the opponent's attack, which is decent, especially if you're up against the physical attackers there. Then we have one final level up move, and this is Liquidation, which is a water type move, meaning you get stab on it, and if you have water bubble, means it doubles in power, so it's technically a base 170 power move, and it's Liquidation, it's water stab, it's decent. It's basically your strongest physical water type move, so if you're running a physical set, you might as well run Liquidation. Then the TMs, we have first up TM06 Toxic, which again, if you're going for a defensive set, you could use 90% accuracy, and since it's not a poison type, so yeah, if you have a full defensive, of course you need Toxic to lower the opponent's health slowly. Then at TM44 we have Rest, so it's definitely possible to give a Rest Sleep Talk set, as I think we'll look at later on, so that's where that will come in. And then followed up 11 TMs later we have TM55 Scold. Now, even though the physical attack is higher than the special attack, and the special attack is really quite pitiful, that's the word I'm looking for here, at only 50, Scold with the chance to burn is still viable, definitely to use, and especially because you have Water Bubble, which doubles it to 160 base power. Even with your fairly lackluster special attack, you'll still do some damage at least. Then at TM84 we have Poison Jab, which is just coverage really, 80 base power, just coverage, nothing more than that. We also have TM88 Sleep Talk. As I mentioned, we can use a Rest Talk set, as we'll look at in a minute. And then one final TM is Substitute, which, is possible to use with your tankiness again. Set up a Substitute, usually Leech Life and some leftovers, maybe even Aqua Ring if you want to heal up behind that Substitute, and you can slowly sort of work your way up there. One final move to look at as well is an egg move, and this is Power Split. Not a move we see that often, but what Power Split does is it basically changes yours and your enemy's attack and special attack to an average of them. So it takes your attack, it takes the opponent's attack, puts them together, halves them, and splits it so it's equal, so you have the same attack and special attack. The reason why this might be good for Araquanid is because you have fairly low attack and special attack, which means if you come up against a really strong attacker, boom, Power Split, you get higher attack, they get lower attack, and you can then use that to your advantage basically, as we'll look at in the sets. So, we're going to look at 3 sets in total. The first one is going to be sort of your full all-out attacking set. The second one is more of a bulky one, and the third one is going to be more of, again, a bulky one, but slightly different usage. So, the first moveset is going to be Liquidation, Leech Life, Poison Jab or Scold, and then Lunge or Poison Jab. Ability is Water Bubble, of course, and the nature is an adamant one here, with the held item being a Choice Band or an Expert Belt. EVs, maximum attack and maximum health points, since we're not really looking at speed here, we're not the fastest Pokemon, and then the rest, last few in special defense. So we have Liquidation and Leech Life, which are our 2 main stabs here. Liquidation is just really quite powerful with Water Bubble, and Leech Life allows you to restore some health points to yourself. And then the choice of Poison Jab, Scold and Lunge. Obviously, you definitely want to run a Poison Jab if possible, but you could run Scold and Lunge together if you really wanted to. The reason to run Scold is to get those cheeky burns off. Even though you have the adamant nature, it's not doing much damage, but it's just trying to burn if a physical attacker comes in. The choice of Lunge is, I guess, similar, because of course it lowers their attack, so it's just whether you want to be relying on a burn to nullify them for the rest of the battle, or going for the immediate attack drop. And then of course, it's not as long lasting as a burn, so they wouldn't necessarily be hindered by that as much, but Poison Jab of course there is just for coverage as well. In terms of your nature, we're going for Adamant because we're not looking for speed here, same with the EVs, that's why we're not putting anything in speed. And held items, we have Choice Band or Expert Belt. Now the choice here, get it, choice of the Choice Band, Expert Belt. Choice Band will be if you want to do lots of damage, you can go in Liquidation, boom, 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 Liquidation, just fire them off, Leech Life, fire them off. Obviously it's not as flexible as an Expert Belt. Expert Belt does less damage, it powers up super effective moves, so you're looking to sort of get those situations where you have a move that is super effective and it'll power that up for you, but it means you're not choiced into a particular move. So in case you have a fire type and then they switch, you are against the fire type and then they switch out whatever, and then you're screwed with your water. Your water type attack is just going to be going against, for example, a Pokemon with Water Absorb. So it's just more flexible like that. But generally, this is an all-out attacking set. It's not the sort of most complicated set to use. You just go in and you attack. Liquidation is really what you want to be using if possible. If you need some health points back, and if it's super effective, Leech Life it up. And then apart from that, if you're running Scold as a physical attacker, Scold and try and burn them. Same with Lunge. And obviously if it's Fairy type, try and Poison Jab them. If it's Grass type, of course, you can go for Leech Life instead though. So generally that's just how you use that set there. So the next one is basically a Sleep Talk set, a Rest Talk set. Which is just basically just that. So we're going to have Liquidation as the first move, Scold or Leech Life as the second, and then Rest and Sleep Talk. Ability is Water Bubble, nature this time is a relaxed nature, and the held item is the leftovers, with the EVs being maximum health points and maximum defense, with the last few in special defense. So what have we got? Well, of course, Liquidation, similar to last time, is your main attacking move, but then we have the choice of Scold or Leech Life second. Now, Leech Life will add more health point restoration alongside your leftovers, whereas Scold will be the option to burn physical attackers similar to last time. This is the reason you want to do this is because your physical attack isn't physical defense rather, isn't as stellar as your special defense. That's where you might want to be focusing a bit of extra effort to try and burn those. But you can, obviously run liquidation and leech life is sort of the general one. The trouble with running both of those is if you come up against the water absorb Pokemon, you're screwed. But I don't think you do that often really. But then of course we have rest and sleep talk in the last slot is because of course we just attack, we do some attacks until we get to fairly low health points, and then we rest, and then we sleep talk and hope to choose liquidation or scald or leech life and use that move instead. We have the relaxed nature of course, because that is going to allow us to boost our defense and lower our speed, so we're not looking for fast attacking at all here, and we don't want to be lowering our physical or special attack because we have liquidation and scald. If you're running leech life though, feel free to just run a something that's boosting your defense and lowering your special attack like Impish. There's no need to run relaxed and lower your speed even more, because even though you have only 42 speed, there's no point to lower it unless you're using a Trick Room set. So yeah, we have leftovers as a held item because of course that's what we want to use to get some health and restoration as well as leech life if we're running it. And similarly to the nature, we have maximum health points in defense, because defense is where we really need patching up, and then the last few in special defense just to boost that a tiny bit more. So it's sort of similar to the last set in usage. You just go in, you attack, but then when you drop to just below half health points, you rest, you sleep talk, and you just sort of rinse and repeat of that. And generally it'll work until of course you have someone come in, set up on you, and then boom, take you out in one hit, which obviously isn't the best thing, so you just got to watch out for that really. If we then move on to the last set for Araquanid, as I mentioned, it's more of just a sort of a more, I guess, similar defensive set, but with a twist to it. So we have liquidation and leech life as our first two moves, then we have power split there, and then the last we have Aqua Ring, Scald, Toxic or Substitute. There's quite a few options there. Water Bubble is of course the ability again, and we have a bold nature this time. Held up is leftovers rather, and then EV wise we have maximum health points and defense, and then the last few in special defense. So what's going on here? Well, we have liquidation and leech life as our main two stabs, pretty simple there. Then we have power split. Now as I mentioned, it averages your attack and special attack with your opponents, and this links into the bold nature. Now what bold nature does is it lowers your defense, increases your defense rather, and lowers your physical attack, which of course is what we're using here. So the hint behind this set is you go in and you power split with a really powerful attacker, averages it out, so their attack will drop by a lot, whereas your attack would go up by a lot. So it allows you to get sort of really good attack stat without having to really, lower your special attack, for example, to start off with. Of course, then in the last lot we have Aqua Ring. It's if you want to be sort of like annoying, I suppose. It's not going to work amazingly, but it can work in some points. You can Aqua Ring and then you can power split, because there's no point in power splitting straight off the bat if you're just in against maybe another tank that we're going to help. You want to be maybe going for first turn, Aqua Ring, so have someone say they're gonna do this, or so they switch out, and then you can power split and you can get that high attack stat. Instead of Aqua Ring, however, there is Scald, which is to burn any physical attacker that comes in, because of course that will nullify them even more. Or you have Toxic to basically, if you're not going to rely so much on the power split, you can Toxic them down slowly, or even Substitute, because of course you can set up a sub first, then you can power split while you're safe behind it, and then you can go forward and use your moves. So yeah, apart from that, there's not a huge amount extra to this set. It's very similar to the last set, except the power split thing. If you just want to go, not use power split at all and go for more of a simple set, not have to worry about, power splitting on the right moment, you of course can take power split out, change the nature to something similar to, relax, for example, to lower your speed, or whatever else, or just a more simple defensive set really. So liquidation, leech life, substitute maybe, and then Scald, very similar previously, just without the power split. So that'd be simple as that there. But that is the last set for Araquanid, so that's going to be it for it today. But of course, do not forget to vote for next episode's Pokemon. It's going to be a grass type, it's going to be Lurantis or Shiinotic, so let me know which one you'd like to see down below in the comment section. But for now, this is going to be it for you all today, so I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, my friends.